I heard dog for a second.
Das ist relativ free.
My building is on that corner. Yeah. Great time.
My business partner.
Hey, Bill.
Hello.
Looking very beautiful.
Thank you. I love the tie and the suit color. Oh, isn't it? It's quite nice. I agree.
Do you know who's dessert?
The sound guy, Alberto?
God, no.
He's getting the live stream set up. That's all I know.
Yeah, this is about this.
Yeah, so I'm like, I think I'm just
Guys generally have it much easier than girls, but in that regard, wearing the vest. Right.
Yeah, like you're making us look good. I'm like, well, the only person I saw with a suit on had a tie on.
Thank you.
Jason's like in the shower when I got there. We got 2 minutes.
Okay, we're coming to the second. We're second.
Wherever that is.
Alberto's coming here.
Oh, I don't know actually. Are you sitting in the front row since your family?
Yeah, I'm in the front row
Yeah,
because I have
then
to go
you
up at
guys
some
are
point.
fine. Just right here.
Do you know who else is sitting in the front row, Alberto?
Michaela is, and that's the only person I know.
I'm guessing Catherine and Bruce.
Could you stand up there just so I can frame it?
Yeah, where?
Just like where they would be roughly.
I actually have no idea. Are they going
Yeah, they'll be there. Make it up. Oh yeah, it was way off. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Okay, thanks, Bill.
I'm Joan.
I'm Jessica.
And now, if I stay here, am I gonna?
No,
No, I'm good. I just gotta have good posture.
Yeah, just don't slump at any point. All right.
So I got all excited. At one point, somebody.
All right, we should grab seats.
Well,
You and Alberto had only met like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been about 2
Around,
months.
I was just gonna squeeze
So
around.
I got this
I didn't want to go in front of the
idea
camera again.
that like
Sorry.
this is like your first date, and Alberto says, "Hey Jessica, what do you say for a date?" What do you say?
He sprung it on me pretty early, that's for sure. He was like, I'm going to St. Lucia and I don't have anyone. And it was kind of like,
Fast mover.
just like a plant in your head. And then it was, I would say maybe 2 weeks before we were meant to arrive. We got everything booked and here I am.
What is school done? Are you in school?
I'm working right now, but here, she'll explain it. Sorry, I
Yeah,
gotta
so
do
he's
some of those.
working right now at Cisco as the student IT stuff at a co-op. And then he'll be going to school in August. He's transferring to NC State, which is in North Carolina. Yeah, and Cisco's in North Carolina. So he's already down there. And I'm from North Carolina, so that's how we met.
So, are you in school?
I'm also taking a break and working as well. I'm working at a medical device company, and then I'm going back in August. I have a year left, and then I'll get my material science engineering degree.
At NC State.
Yes, at NC State.
Got it. So, what's the streaming live thing, Alberto?
It's just for people who couldn't make it here so they can watch it.
Yeah, no, what do you think?
It's mondolino.love.
Yeah, all of you managed to get a suit on. That's awesome.
Where's the lapel?
Smile.
Give me a second, Peter.
No.
He's a little boozy.
Look out.
He's slightly freaking out.
Come on. Look at me.
Peter, I really need a second, please.
Oh yeah, we're doing a $1 million deal right now. Kick him in the palm. As I said to my grandkids, I'm going to kick you in the palm.
We should have done something with this, but it's okay, love. Oh, no. No, don't love.
Can you keep an eye on this? So I got a salmon house, which I don't
Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
and then I'll follow you.
Oh, absolutely. Here you are. I know, it's gorgeous. It matches with the outfit perfectly. Are you sure we don't need to leave any space for people to look for?
No, it's just airplane coming.
What about Bruce? Where does
Who's standing
That's
there?
there the whole time.
He has a sofa.
He does. He has the whole suit.
And then, yeah, she just wanted an extra space for Jesse. And we have plenty of room for that. Push it back up. No, he's stepped back. Bruce is Bruce. He's sitting on the other side. I know it's so I hope it's
Way back up. Way down. Hindi pa rin down. All the way down. Huh? Speed up now.
Well, welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, this has been a fun couple of days with lots of laughs, energy, fun, activities. Now we come to the main event. You may be seated. Let's begin the ceremony with a moment of reflection in remembrance of Emma's maternal grandmother, Julia Buttinger, Oma, who passed away 5 years ago this month. Oma, thank you. Oma had an enduring positive impact on Emma's life, happiness, self-confidence, and values. Her spirit is here today and will be felt. Of that I have no doubt. Love you, Oma. So we're collectively gathered here to bear witness and celebrate the official marriage of two special people, Stephen and Emma. Now, I've been officially Emma's father since 2012 when I married her extraordinary mother, Catherine. And I'll tell you, being Emma's mother has been a source of great joy, privilege, and a lot of fun. Now, extending some of the earlier toasts, we should all be grateful to Diane and Dennis Mondolino for creating the great conditions to enable Stephen to emerge as the fine young gentleman he is today. Thank you. Now, this weekend is entirely Stephen and Emma's vision, idea, and operation. It's their gig. Replete with all the fun activities and the ceremony as they wanted it to be. So, message to bride and groom. This day is going to go by very fast. It's a blur, your wedding. So, look at each other in the eyes and let it register how special this moment is. And throughout the ceremony and during the reception, we suggest that you take mental snapshots, Polaroids, if you will, to remember this special day. And for those of you who are connected to Emma's Instagram account, you've seen a recent emerging hashtag, love you to the Mondo. Well, that's a little bit of a takeoff on love you to the moon, which means I love you beyond anything. Now here's the coincidence. If you sum up the distance traveled by every guest here, it is 227,000 miles, which is actually within the distance from the Earth to the moon. So thank you. So love you guys to the Mondo. Now let's get this moving. We will kick it off by inviting Emma's aunt, Dr. Michaela Bellum, and her brother, Alberto, to come up and read a short poem.
Dear wedding guests, the following poem is written by Erich Fried, a German Jewish author who was a contemporary of Emma's grandma, Julia, the Oma. The few words are a perfect expression of the spirit, the guiding theme in our family. Let me call it our leitmotif. Here is the German original, immediately followed by the English translation. Dear Emma, dear Stephen, may it be the leitmotif for your further relationship. Es ist Unsinn, sagt die Vernunft. Es ist, was es ist, sagt die Liebe. Es ist Unglück, sagt die Berechnung. Es ist nichts als Schmerz, sagt die Angst. Es ist aussichtslos, sagt die Einsicht. Es ist, was es ist, sagt die Liebe. Es ist lächerlich, sagt der Stolz. Es ist leichtsinnig, sagt die Vorsicht. Es ist unmöglich, sagt die Erfahrung. Es ist, was es ist, sagt die Liebe.
For all of you who forgot your copy of Rosetta Stone, I will be assisting today. It is nonsense, says reason. It is what it is, says love. It is calamity, says calculation. It is nothing but pain, says fear. It is hopeless, says insight. It is what it is, says love. It is ludicrous, says pride. It is foolish, says caution. It is impossible, says experience. It is what it is, says love. Thank you.
Okay, so at this point of the ceremony, we are going to introduce a new ritual called the sand ritual. So as you know, Stephen and Emma met on a beach in 2014 in Long Beach Island. And they're in fact getting married on a beach. They've chosen to integrate this ritual into the proceedings with sand from the beach upon which they met, LBI, and sand from the beach at Ket Mason where they're being married. The northern part of St. Lucia, in terms of the sands of time, was formed 30 to 40 million years ago when hot molten rock accumulated beneath the surface, and through a series of volcanic eruptions and earthquakes, voila! The place has a wild, chaotic, explosive history. On the other hand, the lowland section of New Jersey, LBI's tidal marshes, back bays, and Berry Islands were formed a little earlier, 70 to 80 million years ago. So the mixing of the sand is meant as another symbol of the inseparable union of Stephen and Emma, accompanying the sands from times long past and the sands of time. A union and eternal relationship to be sealed by the receiving of rings and the exchange of a kiss for eternity. Now the intent is to make everyone in attendance an even bigger part of this union ceremony, so this is the way it's going to go. Here's what's going to happen. We'll be, mixing the sand in this indigenous coconut shell cup. We'll then place the rings on a pure white half shell atop the sand in this cup. At this point, I will pass the contents to Jessica. Jessica, you'll begin by taking a moment to connect with the contents, passing whatever silent message of love and good wishes you have for the couple before they share their ritual, and you pass it to your right, and we'll just work it all the way through the ceremony. Okay, so note, each has a glass of sand. Hold your chalices up for everyone to see. Now, pour the contents of the sand into this indigenous coconut cup. That is certainly LBI sand.
That is LBI.
Would you mind helping me with this by holding this for a second? I'll take the glasses. Thank you. I'll take your bouquet too. It's a lot to do in this sand ceremony. Now repeat after me these 6 lines. Yes. You are my love for eternity.
You are my love for eternity.
I blend with you. My heart is like these grains of sand merging with your heart.
My heart is like these grains of sand merging with your heart.
I am yours, you are mine. We are together forever. Like the sand and the wind, we are one. Thank you for that. You can feel it. Can't you? Can you? Okay, so. A couple of remarks about Emma and Stephen. Their 5-year evolution to this day involves the wild chaos of new love, connection, symbolism, signs, and commitment. It commenced on July 4th, 2014, when I'm told that it was actually Diane, not Stephen, that first noticed something special in Emma, which drew her to Emma, and I'll come back to this in a minute. These early moments of a budding relationship, like most, are a little chaotic, random, unstructured, and awkward. Some more detail. Emma was a guest, I guess, at Ellie LaBello's house. Stephen lives close by. A bunch of 20-somethings hanging out July 4th weekend, eyeing one another, you know, the typical summer weekend scene at the shore. So time passes. Now the randomness of the renewed connection. Sometime later, Emma is standing on a train platform in Stamford, Connecticut, north of the city, coming back from a client meeting, and notices Stephen going by on a southbound train she was trying to catch, yet missed. Emma, always in a hurry. Emma being Emma, with her huge network of acquaintances, clients, colleagues, and friends, does the typical Emma thing. She shoots Stephen a text, reading something like, "Are you on the southbound train that just went by in Stamford?" Stephen's reaction is, "Whoa, is this chick stalking me?" So he decides to text Eric, who puts the interaction in proper perspective. So as young people do today, they start texting and have their first date at a BMW rally event at Shea Stadium in October. Now, if you don't know, Emma is a car person. Stephen, as you know, is one too. So he nails the first date, except the night before, Emma was at Marissa and Chris Tucci's wedding and had a bit too much fun. In other words, she was hungover. So when she gets to this first date, driving BMWs through a road course that's established at Shea Stadium, she's knocking over every pylon. While Stephen, who had never done this before, does spectacularly well, impresses her, and finishes third. Then there's the first time that Stephen met Oliver. Ollie, it's all about you now. The plan was to meet at Central Park. Emma was crossing over on 60th Street and 5th Avenue with Ollie trotting across the street, as he usually does. Emma and Stephen embraced, put hand in hand, and started walking. Oliver didn't know what was going on. So Oliver sees this and doth protests. And he refuses to close the gap of 4 feet between Emma and Stephen and himself, because, and he had this scowling face, as we so infrequently see in him, because he was still attached, and still is, you can clearly see, attached to Tom. So thank you, Tom, for doing such a great job in helping to raise Oliver. Oliver slowly warmed up to Stephen, and now they're inseparable, thankfully. Now, there's a lot of stories, many of which you know, so let's turn back to the initial meeting, which I think holds a lot of significance. And the significance is the sign is connected to the signs and symbolism that bring us here today, and actually bodes so well for the future. When Emma and Stephen met that July 4th weekend in 2014, it was a month and a half after Emma's grandmother, Julia, passed. Oma, Julia, had arrived in the States that same July 4th weekend 26 years earlier to help Catherine at the end of her first pregnancy and assist in the care of the new baby Emma. Now, as I said earlier, Diane was the one who first eyed Emma and had the strongest initial emotional connection. Now, here's the first coincidence. Both Diane and Oma share the same birthday, May 12th. As Emma looks back on it now, she really feels that when Oma passed, Oma then sent Stephen through Diane to convey the message that she would be okay. While they met that weekend in July, Stephen and Emma didn't actually have their first date until October after Emma turned 26. So here we have this number 26 appearing again. 26 years after Oma arrived. Emma's 26 when they had their first date. So here's where this gets interesting in a larger numerical and non-natural context. Consider the numerical significance of the number 26 for a moment in respect to numerology. We reduce the number 26 to its root number by adding the individual digits together. 2 plus 6 equals 8. And the numerical meaning is formed by the roots 2, 6, and 8. So what is the significance of 2? Well, we have two wonderful people who have found one another. 2 is the number of cooperation, teamwork, and emotional introspection. In nature, 2 represents the second planet, Venus, the goddess of love. Soma. 6. The number 6 is the first perfect number, meaning that it is both stable and harmonious. Number 6 is the number of the homemaker. In nature, Saturn is the 6th planet representing discipline, structure, form, construction, ambition, and creation in a left-brain mechanical type of way. And under what sign are they both born? Virgo, the 6th sign. Virgos are known for their discipline, refinement, attention to detail, ambitious, seriousness, and groundedness, as we've heard in some of the earlier toasts. So when you put 2 and 6 together, you get a stable and reliable team. And partners whose energy and thoughts revolve primarily around the home and compassionate activities in connection to one another. Finally, adding 2 and 6 gives us 8. The number 8 is involved with achievement and success. 8 is the number of intuition, spirituality, psychic phenomena, everything related to the 8th planet Neptune. The number 8 is also connected with achievement and success. Finally, the 8th pointed star of Ishtar is also clearly rooted in 8 and typically follows very powerful people. Ishtar was also the goddess of love, and the star is also symbolic of Venus, which brings us back to the love we are celebrating today. I'd like to conclude with a poem by D.H. Lawrence, Fidelity. Men and women are like the earth that brings forth flowers in summer and love. But underneath is rock, older than flowers, older than ferns. Altogether older is the soul underneath. And when throughout the wild chaos of love, slowly a gem forms in the ancient, once more molten rocks of two human hearts, two ancient rocks, a man's heart and a woman's, that is the crystal of peace, the slow, hard jewel of trust, the sapphire of fidelity, the gemstone of mutual peace, love, and connection that love brings, which is where you are now evolving your life together as man and wife. I'd like to invite Michelle Gaspard up, who is officially ordained to take care of the next moment of the ceremony, which is the declaration of intent. Michelle? Okay, sure.
Good afternoon, everyone. All right, we've been here for a while, so I'll proceed into it. And so I will ask Stephen to repeat this declaration of impediments to me and all who are here to witness this ceremony. You follow, repeat after me. I, Stephen Mondolino.
I, Stephen Mondolino.
Do solemnly declare.
Do solemnly declare.
That there is.
No legal impediment.
To this marriage.
I, Emma Magdalena Rocha Dunbar, do solemnly declare that there is no legal impediment to this marriage.
Well done. Thank you.
At this point, Emma and Stephen have prepared their own vows, which they shall now exchange.
You can all hear me? I need a mic. You can all hear me now. Okay. Whew. I'm very excited to be here with you. From very early on in our relationship, there was a feeling of mutual respect, trust, and admiration. I'm a bit shorter than that. There you go. We're both very driven to do things we're interested in. We just happen to be interested in different things. It made for fantastic and fun conversations, activities where we're both constantly learning more about each other and always having so much fun along the way. There are some obvious things that are different about us, some of which we learned early on. For example, on one date, you brought me to a wine and cheese bar. I love wine and cheese. You actually don't like cheese very much at all. And I can probably count the number of times that you've ordered wine for yourself if it wasn't a shared bottle at a dinner table. Another example was one of our first trips to LBI. You dove out into the ocean, you splashed around like a dolphin on ecstasy. I jumped into the ocean after you to dive around in the waves, and I don't know what kind of a smile I kept on my face. You certainly thought I was having fun. I was pretty sure that I was going to get pneumonia, and I was also quite certain I was going to drown. Then we graduated to things that take more time to understand. I love to adventure and explore. I want to see everyone, and I want to do everything. I jump in to help whoever I can and then tackle whatever may be going on with me and my life later. Conversely, you do the things that matter. You do them in the most perfect sequence, and you do them in seriousness, always rationally, and with efficiency. Being together and growing together, we've learned these different styles make for an amazing match. I pull you out of your comfort zone, push you more than you'd like, and you have helped me to see what's important. How to a bit, maybe a lot, be more grounded, and it's led to more of our best memories. You have taught me to be the best version of me. It's the version of me with you. You make me want to do more, to keep growing as a woman you're proud of. You make me want to do less, to be with you, to slow down, and to capture the best moments. Now, therefore, I vow to keep